Okay, this is question 5. We basically have a question here where they ask us to express this expression and this expression in the form of a bracket x plus b square plus c. That means they want you to complete the square for this and complete the square for this. Okay, now I want to just emphasize certain thing. You see that this 2x squared minus 4x plus 5, right, is like just an expression. Why is it called an expression? There's no equal sign and there's no y equals to something, right? So this is just an expression, okay? It's not really a curve. A curve, right, would have y equals to this thing. So when you simply have 2x squared minus 4x plus 5, there's no y here equals to this, right? There's no equation, so it's not a curve. It's just a value when you sub in all the different x value. This one also is an expression, okay? I'll talk more about this later. There's a reason why I'm talking about this. Now, to complete the square, right, firstly, you have to ensure that the coefficient of x squared is 1, okay? Then you double check, is this times this, yes, and then 5 is still 5, right? Okay. Next, you force this thing inside here, right? Okay, all the rest that has nothing to do with this complete square here, right? You just write them as they are, okay? Then this one, you have to write it as x minus, then it's minus. If it's plus, then it's plus. You need to divide this number by 2, so it's 1. Okay, then you put a square here. Alright, but of course hiding inside here is x squared, then 1 square, but 1 square is not inside here, right? So you need to minus off 1 from here so that this is still equals to this whole thing. Okay, so x squared, and this times 2 is this one, and then there's a 1 inside here. There's no 1 here, so you need to minus off 1. Now all this happens inside the bracket. All these happens inside here only, nothing to do with all this. Okay, so after this you got to open up this bracket, this time this, and then you get this answer. Now why am I repeating this over and over again? Because in your work, right, later I'll show you, many of you, like, you skip this step, or you try to do this immediately and then you make mistake already, or you forgot to divide this by 2, or you forget to minus this, or you multiply by this here, but you forgot to multiply by this. So these are the common mistakes students make every year, and you need to practice. You don't practice, right, you will forever make this mistake, and then your subsequent working will all be wrong. Okay, so it's worthwhile checking this. Now, this is a harder one because of the negative. So you take out negative, right? This and negative you have to take out, so this becomes like that. Now that the coefficient of x squared is 1, you can move on to force this to become a perfect square. Now how do you do that? Okay, I write this first. You divide this number by 2, so it's plus 2. Then you minus the square of this, so it be 4. Again, you got to multiply by this, that's why this is 4. Then you can get this answer. Okay, yeah, so that is all for the very first part. They simply want you to complete the square and they give you 2 marks each. Now, the next part, right, is very badly done. Okay, there are some of you who just simply copy my answer, so I don't know whether you know or not. It's good to redo the question. Now, you read the question carefully. It says here that you are supposed to use your answers from part A. Okay, use your answers from part A to explain why y equals to this. Y equals to this and y equals to this will not intersect. Okay, so this is important already. You listen. At first, I told you, right, this is just an expression. Okay, part A, remember, they give you this, there's no y equals. But then in part 2, right, they introduce this y equals to this. So they have actually converted this into a curve whereby there is an x and a y value. What we call the x value, normally we call it the input. Input. The y value, we call it the output. So this has become a function. Remember we learned function in the beginning. Okay, initially, right, this is just an expression. That means it's just, oh, you sub in x values and then you get a number come out. That's all. Okay, but now it has become a equation of a curve. Huh? Okay, so this is what I want to say. Okay, so right now, how do you explain why this curve and this curve will not intersect using your answers from part 1, you know? That means you need to use this complete square. No matter what, you need to use this complete square. So we learned in class that completed square, there are two things that we can so-called make use of when we look at this, right? Number one is, oh, this one is a happy face. Happy face, and the happy face is 1, 3, right? To make this 0, x minus 1, you set it to 0, so x equals to 1. So it's 1, and when this is 0, the y value is 3. Am I right? So 1, 3 will be somewhere probably here. So this is your 1, 3. Now you look at the other one, this is a sad face, correct? Sad face, because the coefficient of x squared is negative, so sad face. Then you look at the completed square one. You see, I'm using my answer from A, you see. The maximum point, this is minimum point. The maximum point will be when this is 0. So you set x minus 2 equals 0. So answer is minus 2, 2. So that is your minus 2, 2. Okay? So can you see that there is no way, because my maximum is below your minimum, so there's no way our curve will intersect. Okay? So what you need to do for your working for part 2, right, is like that. You need to use the part 1 results, state this. Okay? You don't need to draw if you don't want. I'm drawing so that you get a better understanding of why these two curves doesn't meet. But in your explanation, you simply need to state that, oh, from here, right, from here I can get a minimum point that will give you 1 mark already. From here I can get the maximum point that will give you another mark. And then finally you explain the minimum point, okay, lies above the maximum point, so they will never intersect. Okay, so that's how you explain. Okay, now I show you another way to explain. Do you remember that after completing the square, right, we can analyze this, okay, expression by starting off with the perfect square, then times 2, then plus 3, and then find out what this value is in terms of range, right? Okay, so I'm going to show you another method. This method is easier. Okay, I'll recommend you this method, but there were some of you who actually did this method the last lesson, so I just want to tell you how to present your answer. Okay, so what I need to do is to start off with what I have here. You see, I want to analyze this one, which is actually this curve here. This is this one. This is this one. Okay, so I'm analyzing this, which I have to use this in order to analyze the completed square form. Okay, so I start with the complete square. See, complete square, I start. Perfect square always greater or equal to 0, right? Then when I times 2 both sides, I'll get this. I plus 3 both sides, I'll get this. Which means that my original expression, this one, is always greater than 3. So my y value, my y value of this equation, right, is always greater than, okay, I'm going to show you the other side now. Again, I use this one. Start from the perfect square. Start from a perfect square, right? Then times negative. Now when times negative, you must flip. Alright, then you plus 2 both sides, and then you what did I do? Oh, yeah, correct. Then after that, right, I write the original expression here. Okay, so this is always less than or equals to 2. That means if I look at the graph, right, this graph is this one. This graph, right, if I write a y equals to whatever, y equals to this graph is like that. So can you see that the y value this is the y value, right? Because y equals to this y equals to this. So this is the y value. The y value is always greater or equal to 3. The y value of this is always less than or equals to 2. Okay, so there is no common y value. No common y value for the two graphs. So the curves do not intersect. You know what I mean? Because for it to intersect, for them to intersect, right, there must be, when you solve them simultaneously, oh, we have a common y value. For this graph y equals to whatever, my value is 3. Okay, when it's at this value, your value also is 3. This y2 when is this x value. Okay, so we have a common y value, but in this case, right, there's no way we can have a common y value, so there is no intersection. Okay, so I have more or less finished discussing with you one way, two way of explaining. I strongly recommend you use this one, minimum maximum point to explain, and not this one. This one is not easy to explain. Okay, but if you know how to do it, then that's fine. You go ahead. Okay, now let's look through the common mistakes that some of us make. Now, what is the problem with this? Minimum point for this. As I mentioned earlier, that's why I spent so much time talking about it just now, right? This is not a curve. This is just an expression. So to say minimum point of this is wrong already. To say minimum point, maximum point for this expression is wrong. It should be y equals to this. You see, y equals to this. Alright, and y equals to this. You must know what you're talking about. Okay, this one you don't know what you're talking about, so wrong. Okay, then you say the maximum point and the minimum point does not meet. No, you miss the point altogether. The maximum point and the minimum point don't have to meet. You see, by writing this, right, you are implying that, oh, the maximum and the minimum point do not meet. That's why they do not intersect. Must the maximum point and the minimum point meet? Then they will intersect. No need, what you see? Where? My maximum point of this curve didn't meet. Meet means touch each other. Didn't meet the minimum point of this curve, but other parts of our curve meet, you see? You know what I mean? Yeah, so this is the wrong way of explaining. It's a wrong concept. Alright? Okay, next. This is a student need help. Okay? Whoever you are, right, you actually need help. You see, you don't know how to complete the square, no? Then you say shown. There's nothing to show. They never ask you, they didn't tell you all these A, B, C values, so you're not showing anything. This one also wrong. You see, you know why you got it wrong. You didn't do the way that I taught you, and that is step by step, make ensure coefficient 1, then force this to be a complete square, then you expand inside, then finally you combine. You didn't do this. You see what you have done? You I don't know, you skip a lot of things. Okay, then this one also messed up already. So once this part is wrong, right, this part definitely you won't know what to do. Okay, okay, now next one. This student say coordinates or minimum point of curve is this one. Coordinates or maximum point of curve. Okay, so you see, You didn't tell people, right, which curve are you talking about? Oh, you didn't tell people which curve you're talking about. So the examiner will give you 0 because your this one, maybe you're talking about this one, when actually it's this one. Huh? This one, maybe you're talking about this one, when actually it's this one. We don't know, is it? So you are not clear in your explanation. Alright? Next one, you see again, this person, right, don't know how to complete the square. You don't know how to complete the square, you lose how many marks? 3, 4, 7 marks gone. Alright, so you see, first step, correct, you take out the 2. After that, what do? You focus on this. You focus on this. You see, you go and skip steps. You didn't do like what I do. See, I always put a square bracket and then focus on this. Settle this first, then expand. Don't rush. You rush, then you lose out all the marks. Okay? Now, this other solution, the curve at this lies entirely below this, while the curve lies entirely above. The question is, how do you know? How do you know? You see, you didn't explain the correct way like this. We stated the minimum point, maximum point, and then we say that this one is above, right? That's why don't intersect. You didn't state that it's above. You see, you stated the minimum point, maximum point, right? Oh, sorry, you didn't even state maximum or minimum. Okay, so you must master this, how to state lah, all these kind of things, okay? You are not clear in your explanation. That's why this whole question is 0. Okay? This one, what's the problem? Minimum point of this expression. Wrong, right? It must be y equals, it must be this one. Minimum point of this, y equals to this, y equals to this. Okay? What's the problem with this? Again, this you see how prevalent this mistake is. Okay, you don't understand the difference between expression and equation. Okay, now this, I put this paper here just to tell you, never leave blanks. Okay, do not ever leave blanks. So you see, you already know how to do the first part, right? The first part you are done already. The second part, right, you whack, you anyhow do. You either write down, oh, minimum point, then maximum point of this is this one. Then let's say you do not continue, then so be it lah. But at least you get 2 marks here for stating the maximum and minimum, you see? Or you can actually do the analyze this, starting from the perfect square, greater or equal to 0, whatever. The one you get marks also, you see? Never leave blanks. You leave blanks like that, your 3 marks all gone. Okay, now this one also is a concept kind of problem. Maximum value of this is this. This is not a value, this is coordinates. If you say maximum value, right, then you should write here, this, because this value is y, so you should say 3. So you either say maximum value of this is 3, or you say maximum point of this is 1, 3 bracket. Okay, same here. So you must know that value refers to the y, point refers to the coordinates. Okay, so because of this, right, I don't know what you're doing, so it's 0. Okay, this one same thing, same old problem. What's the mistake? It should be y equals. Okay, y equals. So I hope you are all very clear. Okay, you see, the y coordinate of this is above the y coordinate of this. They will not intersect. Now, this is wrong. What do I mean? The y coordinate of this is above the y coordinate of this, so they will not intersect. So if I have this, and then I have this one, the y coordinate of this is above the y coordinate of this. Okay, because you know why not? You never state maximum minimum point. So you just say the y coordinate of this and the y. I don't know what point I don't know what point you're talking about. Maybe you're talking about this point, then they still intersect. What? They still intersect. Huh? Or I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? You must refer to the. That means you must make reference, must make reference to the maximum and minimum point. Those are the important points. Okay, so this solution is totally zero. Okay, this one also you miss out this one. Okay, so you must be very conscious of what you are doing. Turning point, no use. No use. You know why? You never say maximum or minimum point. Maximum or minimum point. Sorry. Okay, so do not make this kind of mistakes. Those of you whose paper didn't appear here, right? Probably you copied my solution when I went through the question. That's why you got all full marks. But you must learn from your friends' mistakes, alright? Okay, this one, the original solution is wrong. They say use your answers from part A, but you see, you go and use this, and then you go and expand. You went back to the original. You went back to the original, and of course, so complicated, you make mistake and then wrong already, And you see, you go and use discriminant method. No, cannot use discriminant method because your part 1, right, is a completed square. So you either use maximum minimum point or you use maximum minimum value. The maximum minimum point, that method is of course easier lah. This method that I told you just now. Okay, so use this method, yeah. Okay, then you try to do corrections, right? Your corrections also wrong because you say minimum this. You see, minimum of this expression should just be 3. Maximum of this expression should just be 2. Okay, so what you meant was minimum point of y equals to this. Maximum point of y equals to this is this one. Alright, so and then you never mention that the minimum point is above the maximum point of the second graph. So also wrong. So do recorrections. Okay, so please avoid all these mistakes that your friend is making. Okay, now this one, right? You see, that's what I mean. You didn't divide by 1. You didn't divide by 1. Then when you go and square this, then all wrong already. So you mess up here, you will mess up here. But even if you didn't mess up here, you also have messed up here. Why? You just state this. This is for what? This is for what? This is maximum or minimum point. This one maximum or minimum point. And of which graph? Of which graph you never say also. So wrong lah. Okay. Then now you say since the minimum point lies above the maximum point, the curves do not intersect. But you didn't tell people what minimum point, what's the minimum point, which graph, what's the maximum point, which graph. You didn't say anything, you see. So it's 0. Okay. Next, minimum point of this one. Minimum point is this one. Maximum point is this one. But minimum point of which graph? Which graph? You must say, you never say. So when you explain, you must be clearer lah. I'm not asking you to write an essay or what. No. But you must just be very clear. Minimum point of curve, which curve? Maximum point of curve, which curve? So you need to mention that this one lah. Minimum point lie above the maximum point, like that. Okay. Then you see this particular question, right? You simply stated this. Very good. You stated this, but you never explain. You never explain anything. You tried to lah. Then probably, maybe ran out of time. I don't know. Then please write the y in front. Okay, don't write the y at the back. Okay, this one same thing. Minimum point of, cannot have minimum point of expression one, cannot. Maximum point of expression cannot. You must have y equals to. Alright. Okay, this one, you have written this down already, then you just at least whack you whack something that means you anyhow write whatever you know whatever. What do you know about this? Oh, this one is a happy face, so minimum point is this. This one is a sad face, maximum point is -2 you see, then you get some marks maybe then do not ever leave blanks. You see, you leave blanks like that but I did write here lah. I said need to work on your speed. Many of you just left it blank like that, meaning you spend too much time on your previous questions. Very poor time management that would put you at a disadvantage in the exam okay, because you only have limited time. Now this one again, never write y equal, so please remember. This one also, you never say minimum point is what and which curve. Never say. Okay, we will stop here.